Your useless tricks are stupid and useless. Greetings Internet, Didier here, and we're super excited because a few days ago on Friday, Panini revealed its new Black Conflict Mastery, as well as the Hercule MP set. Now I have to say, out of all the other MP sets, Hercule has to be the one with the most flavor. We kind of talked about how Vegeta fits the flavor of the show, but he is no comparison to how much flair that Hercule has. Starting out here with Hercule Champion, you can see that Hercule actually gets stronger as he gets lower in stages. This could be due to, in general, Hercule placating all the villains and pretty much only fighting when he gets backed into a corner. His level 1 only has 1 PUR and has a parenthetical ability that his life deck cannot contain cards that perform energy attacks. Now this actually includes setups, drills, and allies, but it doesn't include cards that can potentially perform energy attacks, like something like Black Reflection. I know it's a little weird, but as a rule of thumb, you can basically say that if a card has energy attack as an effect, you're not going to be able to clue that card in your deck. And this makes sense for Hercule. You know, he can't use Ki, he's a human, and he's just unable to really use Ki at all. So he can't perform energy attacks, and he starts out at a 1 PUR. He has a constant ability that all his attacks are doing plus 100 stages. Now I'm sure, just like me, you had to read this ability 2 or 3 times to fully understand what they did here. The next part of his ability says your attacks cannot be modified by your effects, which basically negates the first sentence of his constant ability. Hercule is probably the most conceited character in the show. Hercule always puts on a show, and I'm sure in his head, he thinks that he does plus 100 stages. With Hercule's level 1, since your physical attacks cannot have their damage modified, any physical that is AT plus just does base of AT. This means you're gonna have to build your Hercule deck very differently than you build a normal deck. Flat damage attacks are going to be very important in Hercule decks. His power is a physical attack for 1 stage that gains 5 stages and searches out Hercule's Dynamite Kick and puts it into your hand. Hercule's Dynamite Kick is a pretty complicated card. It's a physical attack for 1 stage. It also has a parenthetical ability that if it's discarded, destroyed, or banished from your life deck, it gets placed on the bottom of your life deck. Now this has caused lots of controversy, and with reason. This basically means that if you're a smart Hercule player, it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to kill you by survival victory. Even cards like Black Scout Maneuver and Black Searching Technique cannot get Hercule's Dynamite Kick out of the deck. The only option is essentially to discard or banish the card while it's in play. Basically, Hercule discarding this card from his hand is the only way it's going to hit the discard pile, because the card also shuffles after use. This is actually an unstoppable attack that gains 2 stages and also has hit. This attack stays in play to be used a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th time in combat. 4 physical attacks for 1 stage that gain 2 stages. Dynamite Kick! Yeah! You can see now why Hercule's level 1 doesn't allow you to modify your attacks. Hercule is going to be very good at surviving the opponent, which is reminiscent of the old card game. Hercule had a lot of outs in combat, and in the show, he was one of the only characters to never die. Have 3 of these and all 7 Dragon Balls in your deck, and make it nearly impossible to lose by survival victory. Moving on here to Hercule posing, you can see the theme of Hercule doing almost no damage is continued. He has only 2 PUR and has a constant ability that doesn't allow your named cards to be modified. So now you can modify your other attacks, but you still can't modify Dynamite Kick. Your opponent's attacks are going to be doing -3 stages and -3 life cards, making Hercule extremely survivable. However, you cannot use constant drills. Blue dominance decks, sorry, you're not going to be able to grab biting and lifting drill and be able to, go to town on the opponent. This puts a huge handicap on Hercule's damage potential. His level 1 and his level 2 both do next to no damage. Then he has a power that's a physical attack for 2 stages that again searches out Hercule's Dynamite Kick. Things get a little bit more interesting as we move on to the level 3. Hercule Guarded has a parenthetical ability that stops your opponent from using effects that lower you MP levels. Additionally, he has a constant that your anger cannot be lowered by critical damage effects. Hercule gives a mod to all attacks, including your opponent's, of +1 life card. His name cards still cannot have their damage modified, however they do gain hit, raise your anger 1. This level takes your level 1 and turns it upside down. Now instead of your AT attacks doing no damage, all the modifiers on your attacks are doubled. So do an AT +4 attack for AT +8, or an AT +5 for an AT plus 10. This allows for some silly combos with Hercule and Unleashed being able to jump up quickly to his level 3 and doubling the modifier on Resolute Mastery, or doubling the modifier on Adept Mastery, or even doubling the modifier on Ruthless Mastery. It sounds pretty cute, but I'm not sure how consistent it's going to be. His level 4 is where things take a turn for the worse for the opponent. Your named cards are finally going to be able to be modified. You only fought through 3 other levels to get this damage. All of your attacks are going to do +2 life cards, so your dynamite kicks will actually be hitting for 3 damage for a total of 12. Whenever you use a named card, you're also going to destroy the top card of your life deck, adding to the damage even further. And they're also going to lower each player's anger 1 level. Presumably, this is because of Enraged Mastery. I'm sure that Hercule Enraged will be pretty nutty with Shoulder Grab, and I think they put this on the level 4 to kind of counteract that in a way, so that if you did Shoulder Grab and you were gaining extra anger on 4, it would kind of negate itself on level 4. Hercule's last name card is very key in his use as well. Hercule's Grand Entrance is an event that you use after your opponent performs an attack. You're going to be able to search your life deck or discard pile for an ally and place it into play at 5 stages above 0. Until the end of combat, that ally can then make actions regardless of Hercule's power stage. Now, there only are a few allies that you're going to be able to use this card with. The one that was released with Hercule is Jimmy Firecracker, but he kind of can already use his power regardless of Hercule's stage. His power is really strong, actually. He does have a physical or energy block, and he is going to shuffle himself back into your life deck. So you're not going to be able to sit with Jimmy and play and be able to create this wall. He is going to shuffle in, and it's not like you can play Overpowering Attack to tutor him, or Blue Clash, or Blue Lunar Ray for that matter. If you start to really think about the decks that you can play Hercule in, you can see how limited he is. While he is going to be extremely difficult to kill in Survival Victory, his win condition is going to be hard to push forward. Overall, Hercule is a very interesting personality. And if I had to guess, I'd say he's mostly going to be used in the Conflict Mastery, the new black that he's actually coming with, mainly because of the stages, anger gain, and the lower crit threshold will allow him to actually deal criticals since his damage is going to be so damn low. Another mastery that I think he's going to be used in is Tag Team, because not only can you keep getting Jimmy out and get him first turn of the game, but also allies give you extra control abilities and ways you can lock down your opponent. He can't use the constant abilities of drills on his level 2, but he can use the constant abilities from allies. Both blue and black also have really strong flat damage attacks. In black, you have things like Flying Knee and Dismissal, Black Refusal. Blue has just some of the greatest flat damage attacks ever. Blue Head Knock, Blue Slash, Blue Head Charge, Blue Android Headbutt. There's a lot of straight life card, flat damage blue attacks. So I think Hercule is going to be viable in a MPPV build. He's going to be viable in a Dragon Ball build. I'm not sure if he's going to be viable in a survival build, but his ability just to survive with Dynamite Kick might allow for that, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to push out damage fast enough, and if he does, I think maybe blue style might be the only style to be able to do that. If you play him in other styles, you may only be able to win by Dragon Ball or Anger Victory. There have been a lot of talk on the forums of whether or not this guy is overpowered, or is he good for the game, is he bad for the game. He's definitely going to be frustrating to play against, and I'm not really looking forward to playing him. I already really didn't like playing against Roshi because you had to play against Roshi a different way. You couldn't enter on Roshi early because you were just giving Roshi card advantage early with his level 1 power. And I feel like Hercule's going to be kind of the same way a little bit. You're going to have to play around Dynamite Kick pretty much all game and try to get some of them in the discard pile. Even if you can only get one Dynamite Kick in the discard pile, it will be possible for you to kill him via him drawing them into his hand in combat. But mainly, the ways that Hercule is going to lose in this game is not by survival. It's going to be against Red Style. Red Style has enough crits to be able to steal Hercule's Dragon Balls. Red Style also usually plays its own Dragon Balls, as well as there's a slew of MPs that are going to be able to MPPV faster than Hercule will. Who cares if Hercule lives forever? There are 2 other victory modes that loads and loads of MPs are going to do better than Hercule. The main niche of Hercule is that he survives forever. He does no damage, literally no damage on level 1. You do no damage to him on level 2, but likewise, he's still doing no damage. It takes him until level 3 to even start pushing damage. Either way, I'm not really thinking this guy is overpowered just because, like I said, there are 2 other victory modes that are gonna be curbing Hercule. Because he can't push damage, he's going to have a hard time critting balls back on his side of the field. You want to say, okay, Hercule players, just keep all of your dynamite kicks and Dragon Balls in your life deck until the end of the game. You're unkillable. You have 10 cards in your life deck that will never leave your life deck. Yes, in a way, but what if the opponent starts playing his own Dragon Balls? Well, then you're going to be banishing your Dragon Balls. Then you're going to be reducing the number of cards in your life deck. You're losing that win condition. Are you then going to win by survival victory? Are you going to go to time? Are you going to go 1-3-3? That's not a winning record. You're not going to... You have to build your deck with a win condition, and your win condition just can't be not dying via survival victory. Black style will beat Hercule because it will remove his Dragon Balls via corruption and capture. He can't even play focused assault to get off corrupt attach cards. He can't, he's so limited, guys. Like, I understand, he's gonna be a good personality just for the simple fact that he can't lose by survival, but the limitations on his personality make him balanced. Moving on to the new Black Style Mastery, the Black Conflict Mastery is super interesting. It has a constant ability that lowers your threshold to be able to deal critical damage. You're only going to need to be able to do 4 life cards in order to deal critical damage. Now, this is a massive boost in your ability to deal critical damage. Now, you might be saying, well, you know, Divas gave us a damage buff, so the 4 life card attacks that we have now, we're doing 5 in Devious. What's the difference? Well, the difference is, if you do a 5 life card attack with Devious, and any cards in the first 4 have Endurance, you no longer deal critical damage. With Conflict, if you deal 4 life cards, any cards in the first 3 with Endurance will stop you from dealing critical damage. So you're reducing the number of chances that your opponent has to overturn Endurance by 25%. That is huge. So Black is going to see a massive increase in critical damage effects. This is like a huge issue with Black. Ally decks are a huge problem with Black. We only have things like Black Chin Kick, and pretty much most Black decks were running Tug of War because of that. Dragon Ball decks are a huge problem again with Black. You know, most Black decks run Optic Blast because of this reason. And of course, Sinister Choke as well. Both of those problems get solved with Conflict Mastery's constant ability. And I'm very excited by this, guys. I love how all of the masteries are kind of taking what they did before and then just changing a little bit and presenting the mastery in a different way. We've seen that with the Resolute Mastery, we've seen that with the Retribution Mastery, and now we see it with Conflict Mastery. It then has a power that allows you to discard a card from your hand, and if that is a styled card, you get to choose between either gaining 6 stages on your MP or raise or lowering a player's anger 1. Guys, this ability is so great. One of the biggest problems with Perceptive Mastery was the randomness of it. I can't tell you how many times I'd be playing Perceptive and I would activate my Mastery ability and I wanted anger and I would gain stages. Or I wanted stages and I would gain anger. Just the ability simply to choose between the two in the right situation is a massive increase to the Mastery. Not only that, but this mastery actually gives Black anti-anger. If you really need it, you can lower your opponent's anger 1 with this mastery. People are already talking about how discarding Black Command to the mastery is gaining you 3 anger. Will Black Command be frozen? I don't know. But I do know there are a lot of personalities in the game right now that have combos that give 3 and 4 anger in a single card use. So given that, I really don't think it's overtuned. 3 anger, you're still discarding a card from your hand for 3 anger. There are going to be tons of personalities that love this new Conflict Mastery. Android 18, I know Team Badman is already like revved up 100% for their Android 18 Conflict, and I'm on board with this. Like, this is the mastery that Android 18 needed. You know, 6 stages, it's 2 more stages than Perceptive gives. It instantly activates her ability. If she's at 0, you do this power, you activate her ability instantly, and that's amazing. Other personalities like Dr. Wheeler is going to love this mastery. Basically, this mastery is almost like a better version of Perceptive in an aggressive meta. Perceptive is going to be used in a control meta, Like if there's a lot of board presence in the meta game, then Perceptive is a good call. But in an aggressive meta, this mastery gives you the choice between anger and stages when you need them, anger lowering if you want to limit your opponent, and dealing critical damage easier is very helpful in this ally meta that we're starting to see. A part of me thought that when the new masteries were coming out that they were going to do a re-release of the Majin Buu style mastery from the old score game, but I thought it was too much like Perceptive, but that's exactly what they did. So guys, I'm really excited about the new Black Mastery. I'm super excited for Hercule, but I'm not excited about playing against Hercule. But again, he is balanced, I feel. He only really does like one mode of victory, kinda, and like half of another one, but other personalities still do what he does better. He only just survives better than other personalities, and taking damage is not a mode of victory. So stay tuned, guys, because we have a ton of more previews coming out. We got Gohan on the way. We got Trunks on the way. So please don't hesitate to hit that like button if you like this video. And as always, turn your dial to Random Number Gaming for weekly updates for the Dragon Ball Z card game.